Let us pray. O source of wisdom, the power that makes for goodness in the world, we come together this day, just past the fullness of the moon, with 150 years of learning and wisdom and tradition of this university behind us. We come together as a community, recognizing and celebrating all our wonderful and substantial differences and seeing our community enriched and strengthened by them. We come together at a time of enormous and fast-paced change in our lives and in our world. We come together so that we can pause, take in the great achievements of our work and study, and ready ourselves for our next steps. We come together to give thanks for our parents, families, friends, teachers, mentors, classmates, staff, and faculty who have made this moment possible. Through challenging us and caring for us, through expecting more from us and accepting who we are, through feeding us and inspiring us. We come together to recognize what an honor, privilege, and sacred trust this education is, and we bring this awareness to the gift that has been both earned and granted in the form of a Lehigh diploma. We call upon the source of all to enable us to take the joy of this day forward into our lives, to inspire us to apply all our learning to the holy and necessary tasks of upholding and creating justice, healing the earth, and welcoming the stranger. On this special day, just past the fullness of the moon, I offer the ancient Hebrew prayer that is recited when we arrive at new moments or sacred occasions in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal one, our God, the sovereign of all worlds, who gave us life and kept us strong and brought us to this time. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Good morning. As chairman of the Board of Trustees of Lehigh University, I, Brad Eric Scheller, on behalf of the board, declare the 148th commencement exercises of Lehigh University to be open. It is now my great pleasure and honor to introduce the President of Lehigh University, Dr. John Simon.
Welcome to the 148th commencement of Lehigh University. On behalf of the entire Lehigh community, I'd like to welcome all of our guests with us today, especially the families and friends of our graduates, our commencement speakers, members of the Board of Trustees, and the members of the class of 1966, who celebrated their 50th reunion this past weekend. Commencement ceremonies are occasions for dispensing sage advice, and we send our newly minted graduates out into the world ready to make their mark. I'll leave the wisdom and advice to our featured speakers, your fellow students and Lehigh alum Joe Perella. I want to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about yourselves. There are 1,001 undergraduates in the class of 2016. You hail from 39 states and 16 countries. We have 459 graduate students receiving degrees from 24 states and 15 countries. The most popular major among the class of 2016 is finance, making you a great choice, Joe. Followed by mechanical engineering, accounting, and psychology. You collectively have chosen a staggering 70 different majors, a true reflection of the broad intellectual engagement of your class. The most popular degrees among our graduate students are in mechanical engineering, followed by analytical finance, accounting, and structural engineering. I've heard about the accomplishments of many of you receiving degrees today. I am impressed. And I'm also confident that you will do great things. So I'd like to give you just a small taste of what I learned. As a presidential scholar, one of you is graduating with both an IBE degree and a BS in mechanical engineering. You were the recipient of the first Peller Undergraduate Research Assistant Award, and your research will be published in the Journal of Macroeconomics. Another of you shined as a volunteer. Since your sophomore year, you coordinated Spooktacular, one of our Halloween-themed events that welcomes over 800 South Bethlehem community members to campus. That meant organizing some 25 student groups, fraternities, and sororities to make this event the success that it is. Two of you presented at the United Nations First International Day of Women and Girls in Science in February, alongside diplomats, politicians, educators, and other world leaders. You spoke about what inspired you to pursue careers in the STEM fields, providing a role model for others to follow. And in addition to writing a stellar dissertation, another of you had the distinction of earning the Graduate Student Merit Award. You also served as Assistant Director of our Global Citizenship Program for 3 years, and were an advisor on many senior capstone projects. These are just a few examples of the broad excellence and numerous achievements of the students that we collectively see before us today. My heartiest congratulations to each and every one of you on what you've accomplished here in Lehigh. It is my honor to begin these exercises by introducing our graduate student speaker, Belinda Waller-Peterson. Belinda, your fan club is out there. After earning her undergraduate degree in nursing at Widener University in 2000, Belinda practiced as a licensed registered labor and delivery nurse and a medical surgery nurse until 2006. Having decided to continue her education, she pursued graduate work related to the medical humanities. Belinda first renewed her studies at Bucknell University, where she earned a master's degree in English in 2010. She continued her education at Lehigh and will earn her PhD today in the same field. Lehigh recognized Belinda's scholarly potential by awarding her teaching and dissertation fellowships. She has been teaching literature and composition courses at Lehigh since 2011, was an adjunct faculty member at Moravian College this past fall, and is currently an adjunct faculty member at Lafayette College. Her areas of concentration include Africana studies, medical humanities, African American literature, and women gender and sexuality studies. Belinda's dissertation focuses on the work of Black women writers of the 20th century, Shirley Ann Williams, Lucille Clifton, Tonley Cade Bambara, and Toni Morrison, whose literature reframes the discourse about the significance of health and wellness in the lives of Black women with health concerns. Belinda has published and presented her work at major conferences across the U.S. and is an active member of professional organizations including the Modern Language Association, the Society for Comparative Literature and the Arts, and the African American Literature and Culture Society. This fall, Belinda will join the English department at Moravian College as an assistant professor of multi-ethnic literature. Please join me in welcoming our graduate student speaker, Belinda Waller Peterson.
Good morning. Thank you, President Simon, for that wonderful introduction. I heard some laughing with Lafayette, but they were good to me, so. First, I want to give honor to God. I also want to thank the English Department, Africana Studies Program, Women, Gender, and Sexualities Program for their support. There are a few people I need to acknowledge at the outset, because without them, I would not be here in this moment. To my parents, Reginald Samuel Waller Sr. and Valerie Diane Waller, who sowed into me a spirit of fearlessness and determination, I love and appreciate you both. To Reggie, Camille, Little Reggie, and my entire Peterson family, I love you so much. Thank you for loving me as is. To my sister Sam, in 2000, they didn't think our speech about our struggle as Black nursing students was appropriate for the Florence Nightingale ceremony. We cried from the sting of rejection and the pain of not being seen. But today, I claim this moment and I claim this space for us. Thank you to my incredible committee, Professors Elizabeth Dolan, Seth Moglin, Mary Foltz, and Monica Miller. Also Professors Imani Berkey and Hugo Saronanaya. Finally, I thank my two incredible children, James Braxton Peterson III and Brianna Monet Peterson, and my amazing husband, Dr. James Braxton Peterson. You all are everything to me, and I thank you for all of your love and support. I'm incredibly honored to stand before you this morning to deliver the 2016 Graduate Student Address. I want to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who nominated me, especially soon-to-be PhD English candidate Cynthia Estramera, and my son, whose words helped shape this speech. Class of 2016, congratulations, we made it. I want you to take a minute and think about where you started, whether it was your first year as an undergrad or your first year of graduate school. Lehigh then was a place of possibility, a testing ground that promised to provide lifelong lessons. Think about where you are now, how hard you've worked, how much you've accomplished, and how much you've overcome. The last few years have challenged us to confront our biases, stand together as a community, and show not only ourselves but the world that we demand justice and equality for all of our Lehigh family members. We have grown, and Lehigh, as we see it now, is still a place of possibility and promise where we can make history and change lives. I stand before you as the first African American woman to earn an English PhD here at Lehigh, and I am and I am only the second Black person to complete this program. I want to thank Ronald Williams, who graduated in the 70s, for paving the way for me. Born in Barbados, his academic excellence and desire for success allow him to be the president of 2 universities, vice president of the SAT, and an accomplished author. I also want to acknowledge Nancy Barrett, who was also an exceptional senior teaching fellow and PhD candidate in the English department. She would have been the first African-American PhD graduate. Born in South Korea, Nancy received her BA from Morgan State and her MA in English from Lehigh. Nancy entered the program in 2000 and passed her exams with distinction. However, she passed away unexpectedly December 22nd, 2003. I am standing here in this moment because of Ron and Nancy's accomplishments. However, 2 Black doctoral graduates separated by 3 decades is not enough. Today, I ask that all of the graduate programs reaffirm their commitment to Lehigh's mandate to adequately reflect the beautiful diversity of our world. We are all here because of the sacrifice and love shown to us. And the way to honor that is to love ourselves. Not a narcissistic, self-centered love, but an agape, God-like love that calls us to honor our spirits, our minds, and our bodies. Maya Angelou says, "Love is that condition in the human spirit so profound that it allows me to survive, and better than that, to thrive with passion, compassion, and style." I urge you this morning, as you reflect on all that you have accomplished here at Lehigh, to also take the time to love on yourself, to affirm your own strength and fortitude, to boldly proclaim that you reached the goal you set for yourself, and to prioritize your own happiness. Hold fast to this moment and recall it often, especially when others challenge your ideas and you begin to doubt yourself. Remember how great you are, full of possibility and overflowing with promise. Take the time to love yourself always and in all ways. And finally, to all my Black and brown women graduates, we are not the mules of the world. Ntozake Shange said, "I found God in myself and I loved her. I loved her fiercely." Embrace all of your intelligence, beauty, and Black girl magic, but always love yourself first and deeply. Class of 2016, we were made for this moment. Now let's get information.
Thank you, Belinda. We're proud of your achievements, and we wish you the best at Moravian College. I would like now to introduce the president of the senior class, Max Desarn. Max, I think you have a big fan club out there, who's graduating today with the arts degree in economics and political science. Max was quoted in the 2015 Founders Day program as saying that he feels blessed to have had the opportunity to attend Lehigh and that he will work to pay it forward. Looking at his contributions as a student, I would say that Lehigh was also very fortunate to have had Max as an undergraduate. In addition to being 2016 class president for 4 years, Max was a Griffin and head Griffin, where his goal was to promote a respectful, inclusive, and supporting living environment in the residence hall communities in which he served as a resident advisor. Desiring to build a Lehigh legacy, he became chair of the senior class gift committee, where he led a student campaign with the goal of achieving 750 donors by graduation. Not only was that goal met and surpassed, but the class of 2016 has set a new senior gift donor giving record. I congratulate you and all the seniors who gave. Max minored in probability and statistics, and it's safe to say that he enjoys number crunching and applying his findings to important issues. For example, he completed database research projects and developed a numerical method that helps show policymakers how to best allocate resources to decrease crime in different demographic settings across the country. After graduation, Max will return to his home state of Ohio and begin work as a financial risk analyst for the Great American Insurance Group in Cincinnati. I remember first meeting you, Max. You were the first fellow Cincinnatian I encountered at Lehigh. Please join me in welcoming the senior class president, Max Desarmes.
Thank you, President Simon. Good morning and welcome. I would like to take this opportunity to speak on behalf of the class of 2016 when I say thank you to the faculty who dedicate their careers to the creation and distribution of knowledge. Thank you for encouraging us to seek answers and not shrink in the face of complex problems. To the staff and administrators who work endlessly to ensure that all Lehigh students have the opportunity to reap the benefits of attending this illustrious institution. Thank you for aiding us in our voyage to develop into the best versions of ourselves. To our esteemed alumni who have helped establish and maintain Lehigh's reputation as one of the best universities in America, thank you for offering your continued support for your alma mater. And to our family and friends, many of whom are here today, for offering us the love and support that we need to pursue our ambitions. Whether it is by choice or by lack of chance, not all families make higher education a priority. There is not a combination of words that could express the gratitude I feel in my heart for my parents, my grandparents, and my sister, who have sacrificed so much to provide me with such a wonderful opportunity, one that unfortunately is afforded to all too few. Lastly, I would like to personally thank the class of 2016 for inspiring me and allowing me to serve as your class president for these past 4 years. It has been an honor and a privilege. Our successes this year would not have been possible without my fellow class officers Kelsey Leck, Hiob Stefanos, Carl Tischbein, and Jose Sierra. It is often said that to whom much is given, much is expected. And while the expectations for this class were high when we began our journey here just 4 years ago, they have never been as high as they are today. And as time goes on, we will continue to raise the bar. But these expectations are not insurmountable. I know this because in just 4 short years, I have witnessed our class achieve great things. We have proposed bright ideas in classrooms and made new discoveries in labs. Our scholars have traveled abroad to conduct research and have had their findings published in academic journals. Our athletes have represented the brown and white all over the country, winning Patriot League championships and competing at the highest levels on the national stage. In this year's record-setting senior class gift campaign, over 750 members of the class of 2016 chose to make donations to that which made the greatest impact on them during their time here at Lehigh. And in what many are calling the greatest underdog story since Lehigh beat Duke in the NCAA basketball tournament back in 2012, I completed a mathematics minor in probability and statistics. Okay, not many are saying that, but a few. So far, just me. CJ McCollum made Mountain Hawks everywhere proud that night, scoring 30 points on Duke. And it was in that spirit that I scored 30 percentage points on my stats exam. Really, when you look at it, the similarities between the two events are uncanny. But seriously, the pursuit of that minor was the most challenging academic experience I've ever had, but it's also been the most rewarding. But in these last few semesters, I've learned more about statistics than I ever thought I could, and I have learned more about myself than I probably wanted to. Not to mention, I got to meet and work with some of the smartest people I've ever met. The list of the class of 2016's accomplishments seems endless, and today we celebrate the culmination of our achievements as one Lehigh family. But tomorrow morning, we will wake up and be welcomed by opportunities our parents never had, and most people our age could never dream of. We owe it to ourselves and to the world to continue using the many gifts which we've been given to make the most positive impact on all of those we see and all of those with whom we interact. After all, people are counting on us. The class of 2016's legacy will not be what we have done at Lehigh these past 4 years. Our legacy will what we do with the next 4 years and the 4 years after that. And with you all, I can't wait to get started. And so I will share with you the words my mother said to me every day before school for 13 years. Go forth and be brilliant. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Max. I would now like to invite Trustee Emeritus Michael Caruso, class of 1967, to the podium to introduce our 2016 commencement speaker. Mike.
Thank you. It is a distinct honor and privilege to introduce my dear friend, Joe Perella. And I'm going to give you the abridged version, because if I had to talk about Joe in his entirety, we'd be here until about 3, 4 o'clock. He is a legend in investment banking, one of Wall Street's most respected voices for decades, and to think he started it all right here on South Mountain. Joe is a proud member of the class of '64. I was a freshman during Joe's senior year. As a student, he was a member of the Accounting Society, the class cabinet, and Phi Kappa Theta fraternity. After graduating, Joe became a crew chief on F-105 fighter bombers in the Air Force and New Jersey National Guard. He also became a CPA in the state of New York, working at Haskins & Sells, now known as Deloitte Touche. Then Joe went back to school, earning his MBA from Harvard. His investment banking career spans more than 40 years and includes strategic assignments for leading companies in virtually every industry and region of the world. Joe began at the First Boston Corporation, where he founded their mergers and acquisitions group, then co-founded Wasserstein Perella and Company in 1988. He signed on as a managing director and member of the management committee at Morgan Stanley in 1993. He was worldwide head of Morgan Stanley's investment banking division, then chairman of the Institutional Securities and Investment Banking Group, and in 2006, he formed Perella Weinberg Partners, where he is currently chairman. Now that's something, but as outstanding as Joe's contributions to the world of finance and investment banking have been, we at Lehigh know there is so much more to the man. His generous and unwavering support of this university is evidenced through so many initiatives, including the Financial Services Lab in the College of Business and Economics that was named in his honor, and the endowment of the Perella Department of Finance. With his wife, Amy, he established the CBE's 4 Joseph R. and Amy M. Perella chairs, and he was also awarded an honorary doctorate at this university in 2006. The Perellas also established an endowed scholarship fund for Lehigh students from Newark, New Jersey area where Joe grew up, and supported the construction of the Roush Business Center, in which the largest auditorium is named in both the honor of Joe and Amy. The Perellas are a member of the Asa Packer Society, the Tower Society, and Leadership Plaza. And let me add that I personally won't forget his leadership gift to the Caruso Wrestling Complex. Joe is a longtime university trustee, was an honorary co-chair of the successful Shine Forever campaign, and is an avid follower of Lehigh Wrestling. In 2004, he received the Ellen Life Award from the Lehigh, New York City Alumni Club. This award recognizes alumni for outstanding achievements in business and professional life and for continued devotion and loyal service to the university. Ironically, although we were both born in Newark, New Jersey in the 1940s, I didn't meet Joe until after our college days. We discovered later on that we had both lived on North 11th Street, one block apart. Our friendship has grown over many decades, proliferated by our mutual passion for wrestling. Not only is it an honor to introduce Joe, but it's a privilege to publicly tell him and the Lehigh community what a mentor and a role model he has been to me throughout the years. And I am certain that countless others can also make that claim. I could go on for a long time, but better stop now. Please join me in welcoming to the podium a great son of Lehigh, my dear friend Joe Perella.
This reminds me of the song Blinded by the Light. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. President Simon, members of the faculty, fellow trustees, parents, friends, and family, and graduates of 2016. Let me digress for a second, Belinda, and tell you your comments reminded me of something I read years ago by Thomas Aquinas. Diversity is the perfection of the universe. That wasn't in my speech, but you inspired me to say so. So thank you. And thank you for the honor and privilege of addressing you today. So I have a question for you guys out there. So just raise your hands. You don't have to stand up. How many of you are graduating from the College of Engineering? Okay, we're all over there, back there. How many of you are graduating from the College of Business and Economics? Oh, look at all of them. And how many of you are graduating from the College of Arts and Science? Wow. Okay, now there's a special group. I don't know how many of you are out there. How many besides the commencement speaker have been in all three undergraduate colleges? Oh my God. Oh, there's one back there. Universe of 2, 3, okay. If you don't get this now, you will understand why I asked in a few minutes. Experimentation, let's call it, in all three colleges is one of the things that helped get me here today. My parents also played a big part in my being here today. So you might call my comments from Newark to now. It all started in our home in Newark, where I grew up pretty much in a communal environment my first 10 years. A couple of things stand out. My education began at home at the family table. My mom fed us her love and her food for our tummies, and my dad challenged and fed our brains. They had an obsession and the goal that override all other considerations, the education of their children. This stress on education began with my paternal grandfather, Joe, and it's a story my father repeated to us over and over again throughout our childhood. My grandfather was a blacksmith in Italy, and he came to America to earn money for my father's education. Why was that? Well, because the schools in my father's village stopped at age 13. So my father had to move to a town with a high school and lived with a local family who my grandfather had to pay to take care of him. And from there, my father went to Naples to attend college and get his doctorate in economics. And only then did my father come to America. So all during this time, my grandfather worked in the United States to educate my father. My parents were the gold standard of deferred gratification. Anytime we wanted something, the answer was usually the same. Now, we can't afford that. We're saving for your college. Growing up in New Jersey, I was like every other guy. I wanted a car by the time I was 17 years old. So Dad said, you want a car? You better figure out how to pay for one. I'm saving for your college. So every summer I went to work starting at age 13 at Baltus Roll Golf Course in Springfield, where I caddied. And all year long, every Friday and Saturday and Sunday night, I worked for tips in a parking lot of a nightclub. And my father drove me back and forth to work each night. I attended public schools in Newark and Union, New Jersey. And let me tell you about my guidance counselor at Union High School. His name was Mr. Boyle. And my session didn't last that long. Joe, sit down. With your grades and your SATs, here's 3 schools you can get into. That was it. Any questions, he said. I said, no. Is that how it was for you? I doubt it. Now, one of the 3 was Lehigh. And reading up about Lehigh before visiting, I liked the fact that there were 3 colleges for undergraduate study. I remember visiting Lehigh with my father, and the minute I set foot on campus, I knew I was coming here. Maybe you think I had it all figured out. Well, I had no clue what I wanted to do, so 3 colleges kind of appealed to me. I entered Lehigh September '59 in the class of '63, Mike. And Mike said I graduated in the class of '64 in the College of Business. So let me explain. I entered into the engineering school during what was called the Sputnik era. Everyone was captivated by the Russian launch of a basketball-sized satellite, and the space race was on. It was similar to the advent of the internet in the 90s. 2/3 of the entering class of the class of '63 entered the engineering college. Now, I'm sure the faculty felt the need to separate the men from the boys, and they did. So after struggling through freshman year, I transferred to the College of Arts and Science. Again, with no clue as to what I wanted to do, and I might add, with very little motivation. I was completely unfocused, muddling through 2 years of Lehigh, even cutting classes when I was bored. And after 2 years of drifting, Lehigh suggests or tells me to stay home. And that was a wake-up call. I needed to reflect on what I was doing with my life. So I thought about my parents who had sacrificed so much. Am I giving them grief in return? Looking back, it was indeed the lowest point in my life, and as I see it, Lehigh did me a huge favor. I went home humiliated, but vowing not to make this failure permanent. I went to work that summer selling encyclopedias door to door, 5 nights a week, all over the Jersey suburbs. I found out what cold calling was like. In the fall of '61, I got a job in the accounting department of a beer company in Newark. I liked being in a business environment. There was lots to learn, there was lots to do, and people relied on me to get things done. Then early in 1962, my dad sat me down at the kitchen table for a heart-to-heart. Said, Joe, what do you want to do with your life? What have you learned from these experiences of the last few years? And I said, I learned how to apply myself. I want to pursue a career in business. I want to try and return to Lehigh in the College of Business and Economics, major in accounting. Dad gave me a second chance and said, okay. Then I wrote a letter to Lehigh describing my year and what I had learned and what my goals were, asking to return. And Lehigh gave me a second chance. So upon returning to Lehigh, I completed 5 semesters in 2 years. I came to realize when I returned to Lehigh that the busier I was, the better I did for myself and those who mattered to me. At the beginning of the '62-63 school year, my father, who was then 55, with 3 kids in college, lost his job. I wanted to help my family during this period while Dad looked for a new job. At this point, everyone in the Lehigh family came to the rescue. I got the dishwasher job at my fraternity house that paid for all my meals, and the fraternity let me have the laundry concession that covered all my dry cleaning and laundry. And finally, in another gesture I will never forget, one of my accounting professors, Frank Brady, hearing about my situation, offered me a job during the year-end tax season to help him in his private practice. All the care shown to me during this difficult period was amazing. So when Lehigh's then president, Greg Farrington, in 2003, asked me to endow 4 chairs in the College of Business and Economics, my reaction was instantaneous. I said yes, and now you know why. Coming back to the question I asked earlier, namely, how many of you were in all 3 colleges? You'll recall Caruso said I was class of 64, but I entered class of 63. So I was in all 3 colleges with a year off in between. I did well academically in the College of Business Economics. I received several offers from CPA firms to work in New York City. I took the job at Haskins & Sells, as Mike said, and over a period of years, I received great exposure to the financial service industry, hospital industry, and industrial companies. I passed the CPA exam in 1967. I was learning a lot, but I was realizing I didn't want accounting for a career, but again, I wasn't sure what to do next. And there was one other thing that all men had to consider during this time. For all of us growing up in that era, military service was compulsory for anyone 18 and over. So when you were a junior in college, you started to think, how am I going to serve? So I decided I would join the New Jersey Air National Guard via the 108th Tactical Fighter Group at McGuire Air Force Base. And after graduation, I did so in 1964. Little did I know how that decision was going to affect my life going forward. So the 108th Tactical Fighter Group was a high-performance unit of 20 fighter planes supported by 1,000 personnel. And over the years, I got to know many of these people. 2 of them became great buddies of mine, and neither of them knew the other. One worked on the flight line with me, and the other worked in the hangar. I came to realize, though, that these 2 guys had one thing in common. They both had gone to Harvard Business School. I hadn't known anyone who'd gone to Harvard Business School from Newark. And I thought only geniuses like Robert McNamara, who was president of Ford Motor Company, Secretary of Defense, head of the World Bank, guys like that went to Harvard Business School. I said to myself, God is sending me a message. So I got in my car and drove to Boston. And I went to the administration office, and I said, hi, I'd like to learn about this place. They gave me a brochure, and I said, well, while you're here, you want to sit in on a class? I said, yeah. So I went to the class, sat down, and my head exploded. These students were debating the cases, and I just said, I've got to do this. I ran back to the admissions office. I said, how do I apply? I applied, and a year later, I got in. So after my honorable discharge from the United States Air Force, I left public accounting in New York for Boston and the Harvard Business School in September of 1970. Now at Harvard, I was 29 years old. I knew I wanted the experience, but I didn't know where it would lead. I committed myself to work hard every day, and I received first-year honors. So here I was, 10 years after being tossed out at Lehigh, awarded first-year honors at Harvard. I think you get the message. I hope you do. On the strength of my academic performance at Harvard and financial need, I was granted a Sidney Weinberg Goldman Sachs fellowship that paid my second-year tuition. And Goldman Sachs funds 12 of those every year. Years later, I would be introduced by a mutual friend to Peter Weinberg, the grandson of Sidney Weinberg, and I would form a firm that bears both our families' names today. So it was during career days at Harvard when companies came in to talk with students about their business, and in conversations with fellow students after class, that I began looking more closely at investment banking. And I saw it as a way to employ all I had learned as a CPA at Haskins & Sells. My job search wasn't easy. I was 31, and most firms were looking for 25-year-olds, so I have another story for you. Here's my interview, and I hope you never have one like this, with one firm that shall remain unnamed. But you walk into the interview cubicle, and he's got a pile of manila folders there. Joe, sit down. He opens it up, he looks at me, looks down, looks up, looks at Joe, how old are you? I said, I'm 31. He goes, closes the folder, he goes, I'm sorry, you're too old for us. What do we talk about the next 20 minutes? That was my interview with one of the Wall Street firms. They're no longer in existence, by the way. I was getting depressed by all of these ding letters I was receiving and rejection. My classmate, Steve Schwartzman, the founder of Blackstone, became my biggest cheerleader. Whenever I was down in the dumps with my latest rejection letter, Steve would pump me up. And one day, my professor of investment banking, Sam Hayes, who knew of my job search, said to me, "Joe, there's a new man in charge of First Boston. Send him a letter with your resume." I did. And the same resume that one firm closed the book on opened new opportunities for me at First Boston. So I began at First Boston in August of '72. The training program lasted 6 months. So how did I get into the M&A business? Well, the head of the department noticed that all these people used to hover around my desk from time to time during the training program, asking me questions about merger accounting. So he said to me after the training program, "What do you think about specializing in M&A for us?" And I said, "Sure." And he was stunned. He goes, "Well, don't you want to think about it?" I said, "Greg, you've been in the business 24 years. I've been in it 24 weeks. I'll do it." And I've been doing it for 44 years. Fair to say that the firm at the time thought so little of this fledgling sector of finance that they gave it to a person less than a year out of school. So for the last 44 years, I've worked as an M&A specialist in 4 different firms, First Boston and Morgan Stanley, and 2 that I started, Rothstein Perella and Perella Weinberg Partners. So in traveling from Newark to now, I come away with a few thoughts that I'd like to share with you. First of all, know thyself. That's not a new concept. Work on increasing your self-awareness. One of our biggest shortcomings. Some people get up every day, look in the mirror, and they see George Clooney. If you don't have self-awareness, you can't possibly manage disappointment. And your career development will be compromised. Ben Franklin also said, what are the 3 hardest things in the world? Steel, diamonds, and knowing yourself. Second thing I'd like to share with you. No one has all the answers. You can't do it alone. Learn from young and old alike. It was here at Lehigh I learned about a concept called hybrid vigor from the ecology professor Francis Tremblay. And I've tried to apply this concept in my business life in choosing the people I wanted around me. I tried not to look for myself in others. So you need to talk and listen to people. Develop human relationships. They will help and enrich you in ways you can't imagine. Third, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. I don't have to explain that to you. Know how to manage setbacks and disappointments. Don't make them permanent, and don't be complacent. Strive for excellence each day in all you do. One of my favorite people lives right up the road from here, if I'm pointing to Nazareth. Maybe the greatest race car driver ever to come out of, well, he's born in Italy, but raised here in the United States, Mario Andretti. And he had a quote I heard him use once years ago, and I never forgot it. If you're on the track and you think you've got everything under control, you're not going fast enough. So expect the unexpected. If my story tells you anything, it should tell you nothing goes as planned. I call that the serendipity of life. Fourth, I would urge you to always tell the truth. Own up to your own mistakes. Mark Twain said, always tell the truth. That way you don't have to remember anything. So owning up to your mistakes means having people learn them from you, not from others. And importantly, don't be afraid to admit when you don't know something. The final point as you go forward from here is a concept I wanted to share with you that I got exposed to at HBS. And it's called exit, voice, and loyalty. Those are your 3 choices wherever you go from here. And what do I mean by that? Well, you go to work and you're a loyal employee. You see a problem, you go to your boss, hey, boss, problem. Here's how, oh, by the way, when you point out problems, have a couple of solutions, because bosses usually have a line of people around the block with problems. Here's a solution. Now, the boss can say, give you a pat on the back, say, Joe, great idea, we're gonna fix that, and you happily go back to work. Or he could say, do me a favor, shut up and go back to work. At that point, you have two choices. Go back to work, remain loyal, or exit. Those are your only three choices: exit, voice, and loyalty. And I'd like to quote a renowned professor from Harvard Business School during my era there, Abraham Zalesnik, in behavioral sciences. There will come a time when you will be tested. You will be asking yourself, what is your self-esteem worth? And would you give it up and be subordinate to someone who you don't respect or is doing the wrong thing? You will face that choice someday. Now, you've heard a lot about me, and I want to issue a challenge to the graduating class of 2016. When you get up tomorrow morning, how are you going to make it a better world? It's a simple question, but it's an important one. Now, you don't have to have Bill Gates' money to do that. You don't have to have the brilliance of a scientist like Jonas Salk. Your parents and grandparents will tell you that polio was a nightmare that we all grew up under the specter of, worrying about dying or getting paralyzed. And Salk developed the vaccine. And he did something very fundamental. He never patented it. So millions of people, by him foregoing all that money, all over the world could be spared the effects of this deadly disease and obtain the vaccine. Once asked why he did that, he said, you can't patent the sun. So you need the courage of your convictions to want to make a difference. If you're not indifferent, things can be different. You have to place a value on small gestures, to smile, to open the door. Making the world better is as much about small gestures that no one sees. As Maya Angelou said, and I'm glad you didn't use this quote. I froze for a minute. I've learned people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. So when you wake up tomorrow and you're figuring out what you're going to do to make it a better world, I want you to remember how Lehigh made you feel. Because the way this place and the people here made me feel totally changed my life and turned me into the person I am today. And for that, I will be forever grateful. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Joe. We now come to the primary reason that we are here, the conferring of degrees earned during the last academic year. All degrees conferred today are awarded upon the recommendation of the faculty with the approval of the trustees of Lehigh University. Will Patrick Farrell, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, please come to the podium?
We will recognize each candidate by reading his or her name. We respectfully request that all candidates remain in their seats until called upon and return to their seats after being individually recognized. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. I now recognize Donald E. Hall, the Herbert J. and Ann L. Siegel Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Okay, I will now present the degree candidates for the College of Arts and Sciences. Yay! Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Arts and Sciences please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in his or her special field, and upon recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees, is presented to you to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Doctors of Philosophy with our hearty congratulations and applause. I will now present the candidates for master's degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Will the candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts and Master of Science please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for the master's degree in his or her field of specialization, and upon recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees, is presented to you to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Master of Arts or Master of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the master's degree recipients with our hearty congratulations and applause. Will the candidates now for degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Sciences in the College of Arts and Sciences please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for graduation, and upon recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees is presented to you to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
And let's hear it now for the Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science recipients in the College of Arts and Sciences. The ushers will now invite the degree candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences forward to be individually recognized.
The following graduates are receiving a doctorate level degree. Catherine A. Burton, Doctor of Philosophy.
Mackenzie Wildman.
David J. Fine.
Brian Laudrade Young.
Ming Ki Jeung.
Harvey Louis Nicholson Jr.
Belinda Monique Waller Peterson.
Nin Hin Sumon.
The following graduates are receiving a master's level degree.
So I go.
Elizabeth Ann Gross.
Michael Matthew Casada.
Nilifar Kabulova.
Josiah Mountain.
Sean Dane Anderson.
Catherine Rose McGarry.
Deanna Monique Daniels.
Mariah Clota Ocasio.
Virginia Kuure Lay Hanley.
Blake J. Michaels.
Brittany Nicole Ridge.
Alexandra Lynn Wisma.
Cristiano Maya Lima.
Wanda Wahada Sharif.
Emilia Vizoli Salebi.
Yaribe Rodriguez.
Maria Elizabeth Hengeveld.
John P. Sotolongo.
Zhang Gong.
Jane Su.
Christiana Ann Blackwell.
Wolseley Josley Norwood.
Daniel Joseph Kimmel.
Janelle Catherine Tumba.
Matthew R. Chelf.
Jenna L. Wap.
E. Joe Fei. Chong Pei. Laura Casal. Shotao Diao. The following graduates are receiving a bachelor's level degree. Aaron Lee East.
Amy Elizabeth Madison.
Sarah L. Bentley.
Lungzi Pan.
Imone Malene Brown,
Krista Rose Stefkovic,
Justine Gaetano,
Paul Douglas Zetterberg,
Maureen Nicole Kirk,
Yutong Magisong,
Kenji Michael Harada,
Carl Robert Tischbein,
Rebecca Ann Campo,
Cynthia Shuo Z,
Bridget Ann Brown,
and Diana Laura Toscano,
Morgan Lee Brunel,
Mackenzie Susan Quinn,
Talia Ashbrook Donyak,
Alexandra Tomschick,
Sharon Donna Gingrich,
Jade Elizabeth Rudkin,
Jin Nam An,
Liana Marie Prodoruti,
Natalie Elizabeth Batter,
Shava Mavringo Vokic,
Devin Anthony Carter,
Kimberly Lynn Ringhofer,
Brittany Ann Klimek,
Zoe Michelle Pacheco,
Sarah Marie Keeler,
Monica Maria Shell,
Raquel Herlinda Carrasco,
Barrett David Miller,
Olivia Denise Conover,
Hiabe Stefanos,
Brandon Douglas Griffin,
Rachel Anna Sternberg,
Cody Nathaniel Kievman,
Ashley J. Park,
Priya Choksi,
Shannon Connor Welty,
Ross Evan Camille,
Julie Taylor,
Min June Minnie Kim,
Laura Ann McCann,
Danielle Bujawa,
Rachel Oyer Shoulder,
Devin Jufrey Borchetta,
Jacqueline Ann Tenrero,
Matthew Scott Cohen,
Scott David Papietro,
Grant Christos Jamgoshin,
Haley Jean Posateco,
Lauren J. Freed,
Sarah Nicole Plombon,
Emma Bernadette Bola,
Avery Elizabeth Young,
Samantha Louise DePaulo,
Adriana Teresia Vulcania,
Lisa Keel Kosei,
John Stephen Whitman,
Lindsay Grace Dennison,
Erin Michelle Sowell,
Emily C. Folenta,
Emma Gabrielle Rabinotis,
Grady Michael Barth,
Ricardo Ignacio Prince Bermejo,
Stephanie Jordan Geisma,
Sean Alexander Nelson,
Nicole Elizabeth Feeney,
Marina Starsick,
Elizabeth Kier Coons,
Linda Kim Wen,
Erin Elizabeth Conroy,
Kwong Fu Nguyen,
Ariana Courtney Browand,
Catherine Jean McLaughlin,
Zara Ali Ahmed,
Emily Elizabeth Poche,
Christopher Charles Hoke,
Rachel Francesca Miller,
Daniel William Lale,
Mackenzie Lauren Otis,
Max Gabriel DeGros Desarn,
Ali Osana Tukmanian,
Kelsey Mackenza Leck,
Jessica Marie Ludolph,
Zachary James Carroll,
Diana Ye,
Haley Marie Fitzgerald,
Emily Wilkinson, Victoria Rose Bonsall, Taylor Allison Stewart, Lauren Monroe Kessel, Jenny Shang, Dana Heller, Pooja Malhotra, Vereen Colleen James, Janisa Jade Morales, Casey Ann Colangelo, Amanda M. Walter, Catherine Jean Cassidy, Jordi Salcedo, Isabella Sophie Hastings, Alexis Mai Watanabe, Kelly Ann Gaston, Nicholas Watanabe, Leslie Mijung Lockyer, Christy Kopersky, Benjamin David Davis, Catherine Yolanda Preisner, Margaret Mary Delana, Miranda Eve Reyes, Shani Alapati, Matthew Paul McLaughlin, Grace Elaine John Julio.
Jane Catherine Masso.
Sarah Campbell Blatchford.
Laura Catherine Maloney.
Megan Lorraine Berkery.
Angela Marie Morone.
Allison Barnett Kent.
Juan Manuel Palacio Moreno.
Jada Bianca Guardo Green.
Clifford Ryan Zinn.
Alec William McConnell.
Samantha Rachel Zuckergood.
Matthew Bradley Gordon.
Christopher Walter Volchak.
Melinda Blair Fruit Handler.
Giancarlo Bobby Sanguinetti.
Ryan Patrick Herbert.
Appa John Zavgi.
Carl Bernhard Blue.
Nicole Allison Powell.
Michael Anthony Arrow.
Daniel Benjamin Van Schaik.
Julia Marie Feint.
Chester Vincent Toy.
Alana Blake Corey.
Rachel Elizabeth Williams.
Jessica Faith Haymack.
Lauren Nicole Wright.
Rachel Blassie Blinder.
Michelle O'Toole.
Alexandra Haley Donnelly.
Joseph Anthony Spano.
Kelsey Barbara Konopka.
Stephen Mark Waski.
Erin Catherine Kelly.
Leah Noel Turner.
Casey Rose Kavanaugh.
Eugene Arnold Vivino III.
Brittany Marie Delgado.
Tyler Stephen Wang.
Amy Zane Haber.
Christina Pock.
Maxine Blair Ackerman.
Laura J. Pressler.
Morgan Stafford Coonrad.
Nina Alexandra Miato.
Stephanie Marie Heinz.
Hope Elizabeth Watkins.
Rachel Gabriella Schaefer.
Courtney Ann Turiano.
Jennifer Morgan Berry.
Biana Alicia Miller.
Danielle Marie Haynes.
Emma Jane Nasofsky.
Taylor Rose Darlene Briggs.
Benjamin Philip Warren.
Shane William Klump.
Evan Nathaniel Smiga.
Dean Yosha Grunot.
Emily Sarah Moy.
Sophie Rachel Coopersmith.
Alexandra Page Sangiano.
Catherine Jean Howland.
Madison Page Morgan.
David John Bloodgood.
Alexis Jean Martins.
Tamara Hawes.
Elizabeth Sarah Charlo.
Bolin L. Chang.
Caitlin Ann Troyan.
Nicholas Frederick Fodera.
Shauna Plotkin.
Robert Frederick Epps.
Georgia Lee Roth.
Kyle Andrew Solano.
Allison Nicole Milberg.
Cameron T. Feathers.
Danielle Brooke Pearl.
Kiara Lee Foyer.
Madeline Lee Schwartz.
James McIver Finley.
Haley Bess Siegel.
Bradley Joseph Hutton.
Jonathan Scott Mayman.
Christina Noreen Abens.
Michael David Reiner.
Alexandra Elise Beatson.
Matthew David Sherbath.
Morgan M. Decker.
J. Milan Vadesi.
Jessica Rose Calvini.
Jordan N. Zito.
Carissa Lee Barbero Zito.
Katie Curtis Sherelle Pettis.
Amina Marie Affini.
Andrea Sofia Rodriguez DeBron.
Elizabeth Ann Jordan.
Kelly Ann Schwarf.
Sarah Jane Fitro.
Kristen Luana MacArthur.
Sarah Kate Berman.
Elijah River Ort.
Kaylee Collymore.
Eric Thomas Nizil.
Amanda Ruth Derby.
Daniel Dennis Tate.
Samantha Nicole Kay.
Paul T. Lyons.
Dachin Dolkar Getosong.
Kevin Jaramillo.
Celine Elise Tamara Heffley.
Tiffany Janae Montgomery.
Elif Ando.
Laisha Shante Bishop.
Francis Joseph Ingracia Jr.
Daphne Ramley McMaster.
John Ross Glover.
Tyler David Teal.
Jesse Ayo Chuku.
Catherine Michelle Eturildo.
Melanie Granales.
Makima Laven Wilkinson.
Michelle C. Juarez.
Mizinzo Munu.
Sydney Rose Gosio.
Christy Hunjopai.
Lauren Michelle Hausman,
Christine Sue,
Dara Jenna Gileo,
Kendall Nicole Wilkins,
Molly C. Fitzwilliam,
Samantha Grace Mahaba,
Manissa Flores,
Onella Audrey Sheto Nguono,
Samantha Alex Green,
Yuzi Zai,
Emily Elizabeth Hu,
Gabriela Romano,
Bijal Desai,
Lucy Taben,
Emily Lauren Heckman,
Alisa Taylor,
Alexandra May Adamski,
Sally Annie Kayla Rosnack,
Lorraine Catherine Carnes,
Hannah Ida St. Lifer,
Anna Maria DeGinto,
Dylan Jade Ross,
Bailey Glover Falk,
Ellen McCona Moreni,
Yang Gao,
Nicole Elizabeth Stock,
Kaylee H. Kraft,
Cynthia Lizette Pando,
Dylan Zachary Morganvek,
Melissa Montoya,
Joshua James Chofkin,
Jasmine Singh,
Haley Leanne Lombardo,
Marley Beth Milkus,
Catherine Grace Cobuzi,
Christian Salcedo,
Mark Thomas Ronaldo,
Juan Torres,
Trishna Dave,
Elena Catherine Martin,
Matthew Joseph Westenhover,
Robert Vieira Pires,
Hannah Grace Leahy,
Kevin Joseph Stripling,
Samantha Leigh Cooper Smith,
Stephen Brodeur,
Stephen Patrick Lutz,
Stephen James Sanson,
Peter George Kostakos,
William Paul Oppenheimer,
Madeline August Brown,
Kendall Linda Helen Garden,
Emma Hope Faber,
Nicole Lay Isdaner,
Emma Danielle Freed,
Megan Lynn Patus,
Annie Manuel Ames,
Reed Petchin Weber,
Samantha Wells Russell,
Olivier Matthew Rigaud,
Charlotte Textor,
Chelsea Alexander Robinitz,
Shipley Amanda Fultz,
Jennifer Emily Mazzeo,
Kendall Grace Van Winkle, Katie Rose Keene, Casey Lynn Hollowell, Dean Philip Lilly, Wesley Pierre, Sabrina Marie Herbert, Jessica Paulina Galinas, Sonia Eileen Gorman, Joseph James Frick, Paris M. Khan, Megrin Hay, Wayan Brianna Fowler Puja, Lydie Vanessa Guzman, Devika Gupta, Jennifer Chen, Daniel George Enney, Anthony John Iacovelli, Nicholas Fernandez, Mark Anthony Detterline, Do-hee Kim, Sunny Huang, Daniel J. Young Kim, Joseph Kimchop Tayem, Elias Butler Hess, Todd Mikia Austin,
I now recognize Georgette Chapman Phillips, the Kevin L. Clayton and Lisa A. Clayton, Dean of the College of Business and Economics.
Thank you, President Farrell. I now present the degree candidates from the College of Business and Economics. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the College of Business and Economics please rise? We have a representative sample, yes. President Simon, the candidates have completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in his or her special field upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the vote of the Board of Trustees. I present you the candidates to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Doctors of Philosophy. I will now present the candidates for master's degrees in the College of Business and Economics. Will the candidates for the following degrees please rise? Masters of Business Administration, Masters of Science in Management, Masters of Science in Economics, Master of Science in Accounting and Information Analysis, Master of Science in Analytical Finance, Master of Educational Leadership in Business Administration. Would you please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for the master's degree in his or her special field upon the recommendation of the faculty and the vote of the Board of Trustees. I present you the candidates to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Management, Master of Science in Economics, Master of Science in Accounting and Information Analysis, Master of Science in Analytical Finance, or Master of Educational Leadership and Business Administration, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize these master degrees candidates. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business and Economics please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for graduation, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and upon the vote of the Board of Trustees, I present to you the candidates to receive the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business and Economics.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business and Economics, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Bachelor of Science degree recipients with our hearty congratulations. The ushers will now invite the degree candidates from the College of Business Economics to move forward to individually be recognized.
The following graduates are receiving a doctoral level degree. Adam Ira Biner.
Nicholas Francis Wilson.
The following graduates are receiving a master's level degree. Aaron Alkelsoff.
Amanda Wilk.
Alex Andrew Andruzier.
Gregory Victorio.
Naveen Gu Nu Pa Thi Raju.
Megan Wilbert.
Damian Brown.
Jesse Robert Tayala.
Lisa L. Chang.
John Devereaux Miller.
Dr. John J. Doherty.
Eves Vermelin.
Pratiti Dutta.
Matthew J. Nelson.
Alfred Stephen Gahn.
Gemma Vasilan.
Abin John.
Jasmita Kar Sayani.
Jeremy D. Horning.
Dr. Amy Sun.
Valisha Kisha Va Murthy.
Clementine Vezier.
Andrew Ray Cook.
Brian R. Pellegrino.
Justin Andrew LaFleur.
Scott Robert Walters.
Hai Young Ku Cho.
Robert Simpson.
Michael Johnson.
Yandong Yi.
Christopher J. Gobolewski.
Yafa Wang.
Chushin Lung.
Waiko Wang.
Jingyang He,
Tong Ye,
Owen Yo Bis Dunbar,
Ying Zhang,
Charles Baldwin,
Yang Wu,
Thomas Farrell,
Rute Wang,
Gloria Zhu Frey,
Jun Yao,
Aaron Hanlon,
Yibing She,
Nan Jin,
Boyan Hu,
Sha Zhu Zhang,
Chenfang Wang,
Zi Jin,
Tenya Zhou,
Jinlu Li,
Trenan Ron,
Shengfeng Du,
Yu Yang Zhang,
Sangwen Sharon Kong,
Yi Yi Shu,
Jane E. Lee,
Chun Li Meng,
Simeon Kao,
Ying Hang Yao,
Ying Biao Deng,
David Quackenboss,
Chao Nun Sai,
Christopher Parsons,
Feng Feng Chen,
Kimberly Nicole Wayand,
Zi Chen,
Whitney Lawson Challenges,
Hai Ran Lee,
Meredith Allison Tate,
Jia Cheng,
Jima Chu,
Zitang Ji,
Xiao Wang,
Beer Chen,
Dia Zheng,
Kang Huang,
Jingjing Zheng,
Bethany Haveril Yak.
Ijaj Zhang,
The following graduates are receiving a bachelor's level degree. Jonathan Samuel Denza,
not yet. Jen Wang,
Max Chan Liu,
Jingjing Tang,
Hiran Hall,
Liling Zi Yu,
Catherine Gibra,
Jian Li,
Eric Joseph Glynn,
Yushan Wang,
Alexander Frieda,
Lauren Bridges,
Susanna Rose Bond,
Nicole Farberg,
Kelsey Elizabeth R. Briel,
Anna Sophia Meenan,
Shannon Bridget Dennington,
Sarah Tally Oppenheimer,
Kristen Ann Kay,
Caitlin Rebecca Turner,
Ashley Gamboa,
Samantha Nicole Fermier,
Samira Anna Foweshe,
Maria Fernanda Paxo,
Sharon J. Lee,
Erin Elizabeth Ridge,
Jordan Alston,
Bradley J. Miliska,
Min Woo Bion,
Robert Theodore Michaelis,
Hee Wan Huang,
Matthew William Turner,
Sonal Agarwal,
Marion Suzanne Prim,
Anza Yasmin Kamara,
Brendan Michael Purcell,
Chume Lu Naomi Furkan,
Evan Christopher Mulberry,
John Walter Copperman,
Catherine Ann Ottolf,
Russell Owen Stack,
Jessica Rose Marriott,
Peter Raymond Einstein,
Sarah Ann Shea,
Stephen Hart Beckett,
Allison Noel Morrison,
Derek Blair Rush,
Bibi Silberzweig,
Matthew Jeffrey Feynman,
Nicole Alexandra Marcante,
Michael Paul Horgan,
Jacqueline Miller,
Ariel Nicole Frazier,
Mac,
David John Betts,
McLean Burnett Price,
Danielle J. DeStefano,
Robert Stone,
okay, Melissa Stephanie Feeney,
Duke Tan Nago,
Courtney Ray Patterson,
Ryan Jameson Dillon Seltz,
Courtney Allison Desch,
Jason Ben Sitoma,
Sean Donald Dockerly,
Sophia Rose Silva,
Devin Alexander Duraney,
Lauren Saperstein,
Benjamin Guy Gershbein,
Catherine Rees,
Stephen Thomas Kelly,
Christine Mary Mannix,
Christopher Patrick Daly,
Bennett Howard Shinbine,
Clara Teresa Howley,
Alexander James Valentino.
Carly Alexandra Lombardo.
Nitis Udornpim.
Teal Hardwick.
Andrea Eng.
Julie M.
Richard Trebert Malacria.
Charlotte Birch.
Jordan Cooper Ness.
Julie Carlbeck Johansson.
Samantha Cale Morris.
Sean Thomas Burke.
Ali Suzanne Matchkey.
Joshua Richard I.
Anthony Samuel Mangelinello.
Nathaniel Cannon.
Julia Bo Shore.
Adrian Alexander Jacob.
Sarah Hain Oxholm.
Raphael Jean Kaluki.
Robert James Murphy.
Cole Nisley.
John Russell McDonald.
Theodore Alexander Bogdansky III.
Zachary William Morgan.
Samantha Michelle Brooks.
Ellen Dana Wish.
Michelle Brittany Leon.
Laura Jane McNeil.
Sarah Wanda Dawson.
Cassandra Pearl Abzud.
Louis Pierre Lacole.
Megan Tara McDonald.
Alexander Francis Ferrito.
Jake Charles West.
Andrew Iacoca.
Eliza Mulgora.
Matthew Cook.
Alexander Alson Quo.
Oliver Frederick Orbach.
Alec Morschultz.
Joseph Francis Kotler.
Raj Singh.
Sarah Lindsay Grust.
John Michael Pankey.
Melissa Botero.
J.J. O'Brien.
Hannah Taylor Kermser.
John Stanford Phillips.
William Richard Keegan.
Justin Daniel Noodle.
Max Anthony Blyler.
Natalie Marie Rabata.
John R. Califoot.
Justin Philip McDonald.
Vikram Alada.
Fong Lam Yuan.
Jeffrey Duran
Megan
Dungvig.
Rose Sharkey.
Christopher Richard Coffin.
Rachel Martell.
Dominic Michael De Niro.
Julia Bardadaskaya.
Taylor Jordan Alexi.
Anna Elizabeth Varel.
Catherine Lynn Balin.
Stephanie Joanne Slater.
Stephanie Lauren Kaplan.
Mackenzie Lynn Velasquez.
Catherine Merrick Gillickson.
Michael Anthony Stepien.
Sarah Natalie Knoll.
Mitchell Lewis Minotti.
Alexandra Isabel Kamenetsky.
Ryan Joseph Spurko.
Adam M. Goldstein.
Gregory James Palmer.
Alexander Evan Connery.
Brian Essler Holland Vale.
Jessica Graham.
Anthony James Scalee.
Justin Gray Goldsboro.
Katie Lee Zawitson.
Jeremy Scott Liebman.
Anna Magdalena Tada.
Yeah. Connor J. Gum.
Carolyn M. Mazie.
Carrie Dolores Kinnock.
Kirsten Elizabeth Moore.
Matthew Andrew Ford.
David Anthony Telesco.
Dakota Thomas Condis.
Raymond Daniel Mastroianni.
Stephen Paul Kamasta.
Ileana Mariel Marks.
John D. Hirschner III.
Hannah Jane Wilhelm.
Matthew Douglas Lobb.
Taylor Nicole Troy.
Austin Thomas Devine.
Paige Lorraine Tannenbaum.
Joshua Daniel Chason.
Emily Elizabeth Votez.
Kathleen Aarons Kinesis.
Justin Alexander Yavskataji.
Amy Marissa Diamond.
Sean Francis Mahoney.
Brishti Kosan.
Justin Walter Swartz.
Kylie Sarah Lohr.
Samuel Edward Reed.
Elizabeth Ann Johnson.
Brendan Joseph Oster.
Hannah Elliott Street.
Benjamin Mark Muller.
Emily Ann Korber.
Edward Whitehouse.
Catherine Mary Centeno.
Gabrielle Eden Wardle.
Jamie Collins Luceni.
Ann K. O'Donnell.
Randall Kenneth Lawson.
Benjamin William Moras.
Kyle Christopher Chin.
Sid Surrey.
Steve Vincent Anella.
Victoria Yu.
Christopher Michael Conti.
Samuel Micaiah Waldorf.
Alec Jonathan Goldstein.
Rachel Marie Worley.
Alexander Ingracia.
Stephanie Marie
Harrison A. Greenfield.
Morgan Brianna Thomas.
Derek Timothy Florin.
Jacqueline Anna Traeger.
Andrew Lewis Katz.
Jordan Campbell Solmatz.
Timothy Garancher.
Brendan Patrick McCullough.
Kyle Andrew Koenig.
Jacob Rosenblatt.
Jeremy Reed Kutchman.
Paul Robert Sloan.
Joseph Christopher Michael Han.
James Lewis Wheeler.
Alexander Moose Kalamis.
Danielle Ashley Ortiz.
Ariana Hewitt.
Keith John Shedlock.
Elizabeth Ann Hickey. Christopher Edward Gramley.
Colin James Maxentitz.
Michael Anthony Guzetta.
Chris Gian Park.
Tyler Morgan Croco.
Luke Wynn.
Cara Teresi.
Yen Wynn.
Isabel Rago.
Cho Yuan Su.
Sean Robert Keiko Jensen.
Nicole Joey Neary.
Carol Cox Chari.
Penjin Kwan.
Jeffrey Gamillan LaPlante.
Gordrin Shao.
Christina Lu Chia Diana.
Zikang Wu.
Kumiko Ariella Goto.
Xiaoyan Lu.
Kendra Lee Costatino.
Susie Lan.
Jacqueline Claire Burnt.
Jessica Gale Robinson.
Bunting Vicky Lu.
Sylvia Susanna Shagui.
Feng Fei Leong.
Jenny Yao.
Youngjia Ho.
Lior Zelikovitz.
Daniela Zixu Bai.
Miles Superior Sensei.
Isabel Lewis Jade Dalzone.
Kayong Bei Chao.
Guyendon Bernadette Dorm Evil.
Emily Catherine Hernandez.
Sydney Amari Bagley.
Andrew Chow.
Hannah Amelia Shuran.
Christopher Thomas Gunziz.
Emma Chan. All right.
Kevin Timothy Long.
Emma Catherine Hillman.
Kevin Robert Boswick.
Catherine Mills Kumar.
Michael Austin Garzillo.
Alexandra Georgelis.
Alexander Tyler Hill.
Elizabeth Pines.
Sean Gurnani.
Casey Robert Eidenschink.
Bradley James Forshey.
Christopher Apple.
Yuan Gao.
Alex Christopher Eaton.
Lee Chen Dong.
Corey Ryan Epley.
Wuchu Beverly Chan.
Nicholas V. Fraboni.
Shunan Liu.
Edward DeMonico.
William Henry Holke.
Sarah Megan Benbrook. Dylan Casanovas Mack. Michelle Christofferson. Alexander Cacciatore. Kelly Elizabeth Chin Lee. Adliva Rose Gould. Oh, nice. Madeline Jean O'Hare. Emily Simone Belfour. Allison Nicole Hodges. Cody Irvins Israel. Jacob Albinder. Kevin Jiwan An. Samuel J. Bloomstone. Mitchell David Callender. Oh, God. Stephen G. DeBella. Oh, God. Jeremy Hunter Chinman. Matthew Aaron Goldman. Oh, this is the crew. August John Fusco. Stuart Franklin Dix. All
I now recognize Gary M. Sasso, Dean of the College of Education.
Thank you, Provost Farrell. I will now present the degree candidates for the Graduate College of Education, our fourth college at Lehigh. Will the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Education or Doctor of Philosophy in his or her special field, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees is presented to you to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Education or Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Doctors of Education and Doctors of Philosophy with our hearty congratulations and applause. Will the candidates for the degree of Education Specialist, Master of Arts, Master of Education, and Master of Science please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for Educational Specialist or the master's degree in his or her field of specialization, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees is presented to you to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Educational Specialist, Master of Arts, Master of Education, or Master of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Educational Specialists and Master's degree recipients with our hearty congratulations and applause. The ushers will now bring the degree candidates from the College of Education forward to be individually recognized.
The following graduates are receiving a doctorate level degree. Sushin Sao.
Gregory Scott Brunton.
Susan Lynn Salveson. The following graduates are receiving an educational specialist or master's degree. Matthew Benjamin Runkle.
Melissa Ann Adams.
Rachel Shire Walden.
Lynn M. Delangelo Bello.
Alicia E. Wright.
Scott Keith Bartholomew.
Courtney Elizabeth Williford.
Raja Ben Mansara.
Robert J. Seward.
Zhong Du Chen.
Min Pham.
Cece Ruth
Lauren-
Lisamar.
Lauren Elizabeth Phillips.
Carolina A. Hernandez.
Austin David Metternach.
Kari Dis Hoth.
Tyler William Merrick.
Jessica Lynn Davies.
Kristen Marie Vargo.
Jessica Lynn Hunsiker.
Nicole Neitlinger.
Jelena A. Arendt.
Elizabeth Braga.
Naomi Gilbert.
Galen Brooke Rosenberg.
Haley Marie Hersick.
Dana Renee Atalagono.
Julie Lynn Culp.
Jamie Amber Schisler.
Jennifer Ann Forster.
Heather Lee Sahara.
Syra Ayala. Austin Kenneth Lucas.
Numrab Yakub.
Justin Andrew Dimmick Hill.
Daniel Octavio Mendez Martinez.
John Bear.
Amanda Groshung.
Chelsea Bryn Hahn.
Laura Lynn Walkemer.
Lauren Ann Kowalczyk.
Caitlin Marie Mitchell.
Elise Marie de Casal.
Hannah Millett Pierce.
Melissa Ann Gilmore.
Kristen Audrey Martin.
Robin Hemmens Alauzi.
Elise A. Space.
Bonnie Larissa Autenreith.
Nirka Vasquez Colon.
Erica Citron Dubau. Molly Eileen Lynch. Krista Gilbert Hollingsworth. Amanda Jane Fanitza. Marcella Marie Gilliar.
I now recognize John Coulter, Dean of the P.C. Rawson College of Engineering and Applied Science.
Engineers, are you ready? I will now present the degree candidates for the P.C. Rawson College of Engineering and Applied Science. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the P.C. Rawson College of Engineering and Applied Science please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in his or her special field, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees, is presented to you to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Doctors of Philosophy with our hearty congratulations. I will now present the candidates for master's degrees in the P.C. Rawson College of Engineering and Applied Science. Will the candidates for the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Science, and Master of Business Administration and Engineering please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed the requirements for the master's degree in his or her field of specialization, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees, is presented to you to receive that degree.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Master of Engineering, Master of Science, or Master of Business Administration and Engineering, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the master's degree recipients with our congratulations. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in the various fields of engineering and applied science please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed all the requirements for graduation and, upon recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees, is presented to you to receive the degree of Bachelor of Science in that field of engineering and applied science for which the candidate has qualified.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science in the field of engineering and applied science for which you have qualified, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the Bachelor of Science degree recipients with our applause. President Simon, I present to you the candidates for the interdisciplinary programs from the College of Arts and Science, the College of Business and Economics, and the P.C. Rawson College of Engineering and Applied Science for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Business, Bachelor of Science in Integrated Business and Engineering, and the integrated degree in Engineering, Arts, and Sciences. Will the candidates for these degrees please rise? President Simon, each of these candidates has completed all of the requirements for graduation and, upon recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Board of Trustees, is presented to you to receive the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Business, Bachelor of Science in Integrated Business and Engineering, or the integrated degree in Engineering, Arts, and Sciences, for which the candidate has qualified.
Candidates, I confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Business, Bachelor of Science in Integrated Business and Engineering, or the integrated degree in Engineering, Arts, and Sciences for which you have qualified, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Please recognize the recipients of those degrees with our hearty congratulations. The ushers will now bring these candidates forward to be individually recognized.
The following graduates are receiving a doctorate level degree. Tujay Akbash,
Jalfan Jung,
Christina P. Sirconi,
Yu Tian,
Jin Chen,
Yu Song,
Roland Chen,
Tian Yu Zhao,
Nipun Goyal,
Chen Yu Wu,
Anand Srinivas Guru Swami,
Wei Zong,
Murat Al,
Swin Chong Wong,
Dan Lee,
Otinda Schumacher,
Daniel G. Gregory,
Vinay Surrender Patel,
Daniel Henry Bacchetti,
Christopher Jonathan Marvel,
Chinmoy Kole,
Laura Danielle Solomon,
Mohsen Moar Furdust,
Jacob Riglin,
Golan Shahidi,
Alex Christian Tomikuts, Liri Pakinding, Xiao Cheng Tong, Chandras Tucker, Akshaya Shankar, Faro Mabadi, Ibrahim Chatibi.
The following graduates are receiving a master's level degree. Justin Robert Jacobs,
Sarah Murat,
Alexander Colton Derish,
Lauren Elizabeth Purdom,
Edgar Mashkil Morales,
Aaron William Thomas,
Pratik Palanethra,
Jessica Nicole Watson,
John Bolick,
Min Che Yu,
Darian Hester,
Xiao Tzu,
Daniel Anthony Coronel,
Onoso Kiti Eko,
John Matthew Emmerich Schultz,
Brian Jonas Reed,
Shannon Elizabeth Varco,
Mark Wiener,
Kelsey B. Alpeo,
Mark McKenzie Mahoney,
Zion
Joshua Matthew Stephenson,
Justin Michael Carter,
Raphael Samuel Mills,
Zachary Evan Cohn,
Ugo Chu Smart Maccabi,
Ali Almasi,
John Michael Merwin,
Saheli Biswas,
Omi Romero,
Diane Arit Mati,
Ariel Katrina Willett,
Neil Christensen,
Madeline Jean Smith,
Azza Mohammadi Almeki,
Nikita Rishi,
Ibrahim Mustafa Almeki,
Colin Edwin Orr,
Ryan Walter Bailey,
Soham Mukherjee,
Zachary Robert Kraus,
Cheng Tong,
Andrew Hansen,
Sudong Chao,
Robert Samuel Cohen,
Ziyang Yu,
Gerardo de Colombre Sanchez,
Jiao Wai Tsang,
Michael Broughton Gritzmacher,
Xiao Tsang,
Catherine Ann Ruther Loisel,
Shai Adai Taida,
Joshua Lance Kaur,
Nadishan Rajendran,
Carl Miles Bettinger,
Moti Volo,
Bo Bao,
Pranav Yashab Modari,
Dufu Gao,
Nirajan Anai Siokata,
Xiaoran Du,
Julia Tesser Tomasi,
John Connor Forrester,
Daniel Saver Wolbert,
Caitlin Janine Kittner,
Zhu Shen Yang,
Siddhant Jayaraman,
Taeyen Kin Yin,
Thais Alcantara,
Jennifer Rose McQueenie,
Shantanu Bapat,
Ajawant Singh,
Rohan R. Amin,
Xiao Tzu,
Amit Lankar,
Kaiyuan Peng,
Shu Fan Chang,
Siyu Yang,
Karen T. Chen,
Yitzhao Tsang,
Chumeng Liu,
Boyu Wang,
Kunyuan Li,
Ellison Jamie Olinsky,
Zoteng Chen,
Benjamin Boulder Robowski,
Hang Chen,
Nathan Lee Sparks,
Nicholas Anthony Lacroce,
Colin James Melton,
James Lamberti,
Shu Rei Tsan,
Andrew Michael Klein,
Hao Xiao Song,
Han Lui,
Hana Musa Jaboda,
Jumin Liang,
Ryan Christopher Scott,
Meng Chen Liang,
Tian Hao Yu,
Man Gao,
Laura Elena Meya Suarez,
Jia Liu, Zhou Cao, Jie Liu, Kejun Li, Tao Li, Zhu Liu, Huizhang Angela Han, Jia King Fan, Huijin Li, Andrew Thomas Cohen, Daniel John Loikitz, Shang Gao, Jason Chulhi Zhou, Rami Al Qasem, Tarek Jaziri, Tushar Khanna, Adnan Iqbal Kawaja, Markian Stephen Blekzejowski, woo! Matthew Ryan Lippincott, Mark Joseph Dipsy Jr.,
The following graduates are receiving a bachelor's level degree. Mark Alex Greenspan.
Connor Henry Zingel.
Bernard Francis Brown II.
Hannah Abigail Merritt.
George Atiha.
Allison M. Stevens.
Nicholas Rudolph Lentz.
Oni Nahapatian.
Matthew De Benedettis.
Grant Snyder.
Michael David Boyson.
Nicholas Rex Spence.
Jennifer Lee Angelo.
Jeffrey Robert Tilley.
Caitlin Rose Bryan.
John Michael Thompson.
Lauren Elise Baller.
Eilika Eberhardt Podak.
Eileen Maria Bidad.
Edward John Sullivan.
Sarah Elizabeth Alexander.
Michael Thomas Poreka.
Catherine Diane Barbado.
William Judo Sullivan.
Danielle Michael Heyman.
Shane Patrick Mulcahy.
Sean Thomas Byrne.
Elizabeth Brandel Weiler.
Declan Michael Brennan.
Evan Michael Ward.
Austin Wesley Keller.
Eric Michael Stahl.
J. Zachary Lentz.
Morgan Thomas Walker.
Richard Gerard Johnson.
Ryan Scott Santos.
Patrick J. Deese.
Wesley Robert Vogel.
Dustin Glenn Barr.
Christopher Peter Petruzzulia.
Nathan Thomas Grajewski.
Emily Rose McMillan.
Connor Joseph Boyle.
Oleg Makuka.
Gen Belchista.
Miles McKinney Zwicky.
Stephen Bachnowitz.
Clinton Wangano.
Stephanie Rose Claubert.
Susan Shi Scheckenbach.
Kyle Mitchell Garland.
Lauren Ashley Slater.
Jacob Carl Hassel.
Dean Charles Zephyr.
Andrew Augustine Kurowski.
Kyle Robert Salmon.
Nicholas Andrew Kananiko.
Jacob Robert Rita.
Brandon Robert Leonard.
Pablo Abraham Montes de Oca.
Eric Warren Glocky.
David Ernst Alexin Jr.
Aiden Nathaniel Greenwald.
Peter Michael Schwarzenberg.
James Paul Daly.
Jalel Nabil Mohammed.
Brittany Lee Fisher.
Ali Abdullah Nasra.
Sam Howe.
Joshua Norman Webb.
Catherine Nicole Hooven.
Brian L. McCann.
Kausar Huda.
David Matthew Reno.
Wada Liu.
Brittany Dawn Partain.
Ivan Ha.
Stacy Song Young Park.
Andrew Connor Burley.
Stephanie Melagros Yanez.
Andrew Devin Grizanka.
Garrett Spencer Pan.
Christopher Warren Berry.
Timothy Mark Wheeler.
William Edward Grace.
Holden Marcus Chung.
Zachary Alexander Caruso.
Regan Templin Schaefer.
Andrew James DePrinzio.
Ariel Elizabeth Weiner.
Mahadi Mohammed Hossein.
Jennifer Louise Markham.
Charles Robert Drozba,
Marina Kanin Vanizia,
Cheyenne Begley,
John Wallington Wookie,
Daniel Scott Camarda,
Kevin Trin,
Mara Elizabeth Godfrey,
Molly J. O'Neill,
David Chase Brewster III,
Larissa Elise Rowe,
Spencer James Costello,
Jasmine Danielle Medinas,
Maria Cuenca,
Hyo Won Park,
Lily Shu,
Yusin Cindy Zhang,
Aiden Carlos Din,
Alexandra Popova,
David Michael Barak,
Sarah Shi Wei,
Amit Bomilk,
David Alexander Remnick,
Kara Ann Bagley,
Corey Eckstein Perlman,
Zachary Dansky,
Leah Marie Tranovich,
Benjamin Cyril Dunmeyer,
Tara Catherine Stansbury,
Paige Hunter Elliott,
Rebecca Hope Milano,
Logan Andrew Hodges,
Evan Michael Torvedos,
Susan Ashley Clayman,
Jason Kyle Moody,
Daniel Peter Boardman,
Jeffrey Evan Schwartz,
Kirsten Nicole Leskowich,
Stephanie Marie Piscopo,
Jen Zinzali Clark,
Maxwell Grant Williams,
Kara Danielle D'Souza,
David Paul Miller,
Deborah Chi,
Ryan Alec Vonderfecht,
Eric Peter Bornacco,
Ray Alexa Riccardi,
Evan David Hardy,
Everin William McCord,
Hannah Rebecca Devane,
Angel Nicolas Santamaria,
Brianna D. Lohman,
Mackenzie Teresa Snow,
Mitchell Rainey Grimm,
Aaron Lee Ricker,
Emily Faye Levinson,
Lindsay A. Schott,
Evan Edward Gage,
Ricardo Ruben Pozos,
Thomas David Lindberg,
Sheila Catherine Strong,
Harrison Michael Janart,
Lauren Elizabeth Menser,
Jeevan Jane Cox,
Nicholas Dimitri Trevellis,
Evan Ross Franco,
Matthew Michael Posh,
Connor Kane Bradley,
Gregory David Potter,
Joshua Quinn Kerpat,
Adam Edward Pollock,
Anna Elizabeth Kiersgaard,
John Carlo Patermoster,
Christina Clerk,
Troy Thomas Williams,
Jennifer Lynn Fictor,
Win Miat U,
Anna Korch,
Pablo Noki Manzo Mura,
Kaylin Elizabeth Johnson,
Khan Wu,
Dylan Freegan Veach,
Shi Chi,
Casey Michelle Kozo,
Stephanie Marie Saradenko,
Anthony Thomas Kanapka,
Emily Madskit,
Alexander William Hake,
Sarah Mayuko Siegel,
Nazlu Gularyuz,
Chad Robert Wagner,
Alexander Villa Artiega,
William Joseph Sullivan,
Brittany Marie Cutrona,
Douglas Edgar Valero,
John Nash Hosmer,
Juliana Tellus,
Daniel Edward Kisling,
Samantha Schreck,
Spencer Ryan Freund,
Meredith Brooke Wiener,
Devin Michael Fano,
Zoe Allison Proton,
Andrew T. Abend,
Adam Maxwell Wiener Aponte,
Nicole Susan Gomez,
Alyssa Grace Wedge,
Leanne Elizabeth Block,
Olufaisho Nicholas Ulubanga,
Wei Hee Chen,
Andrew Michael McMullen,
Chang Chen,
Ryan John Miller,
Jason Leonard Levine,
Brian Perry,
Andrew Henry Claggett,
Andrew Shapiro,
Christopher James Garman,
Lauren Elizabeth Thompson,
Angela Marie Lawrence,
Lindsay Rose Richardson,
Shelby Rose Fabian,
Christopher Mark Walker,
Zachary Max Dykel,
Joseph Michael Ventura,
Elizabeth Lauren Archibald,
Christopher Rule,
Z. Vakiva Porter Arts,
Colton Thorne Rochelle,
Adam David Kafka,
Shangdong Yang,
Brendan Joseph Huber,
Huayan Mao,
Samuel Lucas Bernstein,
Yanxing Yang,
Marco Antonio Bellardo,
Matthew Raporte,
Ryan Matthew Fino,
Christopher F. Maselli,
James Flotteron Coyhill,
Jackson Thomas McDermott,
Ricardo Alfonso Alvarez,
Skylar Tate Parsonet,
Christina Angela Catalano,
Ian Scott Weiss,
Daniel Jacob DePaul,
Lima M. Nassar,
Brent Stephen Lorraine,
Amy Denise Niwan Shuti,
Richard Liu Liao,
Christopher James Zadra,
Scott Dimitri Grant,
Rebecca Casey Narath,
Michael Lopinto,
Emily Ann Sechrist,
Robert Bernard Dunleavy,
Jenna Sue Smalley,
Chun Ho Lee,
Aaron George Korean Zakaria,
Bo Hak Yoon,
David Zhang,
Jeffrey Murtam,
Julia Grace Yearwood,
Brian Austin Day,
Patrick James Wendler.
Jordan Keith Johnson.
Kenji Kosaku Ushigusa.
Matthew Daniel DeSalvo.
Nicholas Peter Razuk.
William David Allen Jr.
Lillian Vergara.
Mark Paul Civarelli.
Jason Luchin Wang.
Matthew David Bay.
Kiwi Wen.
Casey Leonard Johnson.
Mark Sandler.
Michael Philip Bodo.
Mon Win.
Monica Anjali McCarter.
Patrick Philip Walgren.
Taylor Lubin Migat.
Scott Edward Mogerly.
Michael Roderick Fink.
Connor Wesley Fulbright.
Kenneth Brian Edwards.
Connor Barrett Timmerman.
Tyler Allen John.
Tony Z. Gee.
Amanda Mary Morici.
David Allen Silfen.
Sarah Elizabeth Carlton.
Robert Winthrop Storer.
Abigail Rose Pyrus.
Nathan Wilson Scott.
Hannah Lauren Hodges.
Jeffrey Mara.
Anna Brooke Eggert.
Sam Present.
Abigail Marie Ubilodi.
Kyle James Root.
Michael Timothy Brennan.
Timothy Joseph O'Hearn.
Sean Avend Allen.
Callie Rose Ziltz.
Caleb Owen Grady.
Joseph Edward Gabai.
Christopher Charles Foley.
Jason Patinak.
Pantelis Adrian Takos.
Lauren Rebecca Marino.
William Asher Bridger.
Andreas Sifferman.
Daniel S. Levy.
Joseph Sanfratello.
Richard Alexander Johannes Garcia.
Jeffrey Patrick Quenzel.
Kelsey Rose Labasco.
Michael Dean Mealy.
Daniel Joseph Halleck.
Kathleen Marie Monks.
Emil Wady Behu.
Colin Henry Marvin.
Nur Udin Jahangir.
Tay Souls Ilkay.
Dylan James Cato.
Brian Obeta.
Pranav Lakshmi Kati.
Thomas John Potenza.
Alexander Huyn.
Munad Muhinur.
Daniel Jake Kramer.
Amber Elizabeth Schrum.
Brandon Gabriel Fink.
Amy Matula.
Wilson Kong.
Sean Edward Tamlin.
Alejandro Gonzalez Fung.
Marcus Jordan Pugliese.
Nicole Elizabeth Johnson.
Tyler Alexander Sloan.
Amelia Rosa Bublik.
Judson Carlisle Small.
Jennifer Ann Finley.
Eric J. Sorelli.
Miranda Lee Blanchard.
Erica Schneer.
Whitney Lai.
Caitlin Brooks Wochadik.
Stephen Long.
Jessica Gabrielle Smith.
Connor Daniel Duffy.
Christopher Michael Vickery.
Russell Kevin Beatty.
Jun Bin Shao.
Joseph Philip Ingayo.
Shumeng Ni.
Andrew Connor Bowden.
Xuan Su.
Carly Eve Deitch.
Kenneth Wong.
Gregory William Pauley.
Charlene Wang.
Ann McConnell Coogan.
Wesley Michaels.
Matthew Francis Carducci.
Joshua Solomon.
Jonathan Victor Derzawick.
Tyler Stongla.
Joshua R. Willen.
Brett Martlin Reisman.
Stephen Roy Kuzi.
Eric Helmark Metcalf.
Anthony Michael Evelina.
Nicholas John Stoffel.
Lena Barrett.
Dennis Michael Moyer Jr.
Robert Edward Doricott III.
James Mark Swenson.
Joshua Hubert.
Michael Thomas Martinsky.
Rebecca Adele Longbean.
Ellen Nick.
Noel Wayne Morris.
Sidney Richard Com.
Elizabeth Jean-Hee Kim.
Adam Henrik Spinucci.
Hyen Cohen.
Adam Shaw.
Zhang Zhu.
Sean Patrick Purcell.
Yiting Tina Lu.
Shin Chang Song.
Stefan Huber.
Trevor Hagame Edwards.
Madeline Rose Harmon.
Thomas Kelsey Pine.
Brianna Kristen King.
Mark Yem.
Ryan David James. Devin James Kalanish. Matthew Robert Roth. Keith Thomas Knapp. Brian Matthew Byman. Shane Patrick Haggerty. Ethan M. Dubuque. Alexis Catherine Dankmeyer. Elise Janine Curtis. Marissa Hagar. Trevor D. Delalo. Lucas Gabriel Cruz. Carolyn Ann Koch. Jordan Ann Greer. Devin M. Gallagher. Catherine Taylor Fletcher. Nicholas D. Late. Brandon Lee Culp. Jose Alejandro Sierra Kieswetter. Thomas Diebel. Devin Nicolette Dowd. Dina Horsgoody. Elizabeth Marie Chelis, Claire Bradshaw, Ryan Bertrando, Venenius Rodriguez Aguiar, Shiv Joshi, Joshua Koshi, Elvin Cardona, Jillian Nicole Seda, Lisa Elaine Heinzelman, Andrew Sean Culkin, Karen Elizabeth Connor, Lindsay Jane Kaiser, Jenna Marie Kaiser, Jeff Castle, Andres Juan Driscoll, Douglas Scott Gusick, Erin Barclay, Alexandra Jane Lang, Alec Lawrence William, Andres, Robert Hedrick, Chris Dada, Benjamin George Glickenhaus, Simon Julius Bear, Clayton Barber, Sarah Elizabeth Huser, Allison Paige Fletcher, Stephanie Ryan Barry, Victoria Rose Leto, Brendan Reed Eckert, Trevor Hackett Hayes, Matthew Gavin, Jeffrey David Gill, Joseph Anthony Arguero, Lauren Zane Haber, Brett Edward Lay, Sarah Patricia Gregori, Sarah Coricora, Michael John Salenti, Jordan Hill, Elizabeth Kelly Durkin, Elise Nicole Cross, Jefferson Arnold Kelso, Zulin Liu, Irene Lau, Wellesley R. Aretza, Jonathan Chang, Michael Cerny Green, Royce Cook, Yora Rosa Kim, Kyu Hyun Choi, Nan He, Yifei Gao, Francesco Grossi, Shane Yasinov Denisov, Ryan Lansdowne, Alexander Joseph Hisney, Brandon Barton, Michael Holdorf, Joshua Azarki, and Alexander Glass Hardenberg.
So let's give all of our graduates a round of applause for that. Congratulations. I would like now to welcome Kira Mendez, class of 1983, and outgoing president of the Lehigh University Alumni Association Board of Directors, to address our newest Lehigh University alumni.
Thank you, President Simon. Congratulations to all of you and your families. It's almost done. It's my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to our Lehigh University Alumni Association family. You are now officially connected to more than 80,000 Lehigh alumni all over the world. And if you are truly looking while you're out there, you will find us everywhere you go. This year, I had the opportunity to join President Simon on a 10-city tour, meeting alumni all across the U.S., and I can tell you, our network is amazing. Today marks an important milestone, the receiving of a degree from Lehigh. Perhaps some of you will extend your stay to pursue additional degrees, but at some point, now or in the near future, you will leave your student days at Lehigh behind. It feels good to finish, and it is quite an accomplishment. Now you will go out into the world to live your life and do incredible things. Hopefully, you will look back fondly at your time here, maybe come back for reunions or get together at other events to reminisce. And I guess that's fine, but not really the full credit answer. I have far bigger dreams for you. In my alumni dream for you, this isn't the end of your deep relationship with Lehigh. It is only the beginning, and very early days at that. Consider this. I spent 4 years at Lehigh getting my first engineering degree, but I have now spent 33 years as a Lehigh alumna. For you math people out there, that's more than 8 times as long. And I hope to have many more. That's a lot of time for an immensely enjoyable and valuable relationship with Lehigh. And those other 80,000 alumni I told you about. In my alumni dream for you, your level and type of engagement will evolve as your life evolves, through career changes, geographic moves, growing families, emerging passions. Lehigh is constantly evolving as well, so there will always be new initiatives to explore and places to intersect. Perhaps you will do as I did and collaborate on research and program design, run workshops, mentor students, serve on boards or councils. Alumni of all generations and backgrounds, as well as Lehigh faculty and staff, will become your colleagues, your partners, your dear friends. You will work together on creative projects, business ventures, social causes. The opportunities for engagement are as individual as you are. In my alumni dream for you, you will enjoy the full benefit of this tremendous network connected to Lehigh. And by the same token, Lehigh will grow as a result of your involvement, both as an institution and as a vibrant community making things happen in the world. After 33 years, my connection to Lehigh has more relevance and significance to my life than ever before. That is my alumni dream for you. That's what your Lehigh University Alumni Association wants to help you to achieve. Now, I challenge you, as the extraordinary Lehigh alumni that you have now become, to go out and make that happen. And so until we meet again, I once again congratulate you on today's accomplishment and will look forward to getting to know you and working together for a long, long time to come. Lastly, to continue a very special Lehigh tradition, Harry Brown, 1966 class president, and Max DeZarn, 2016 class president, will now ring the bell.
Thank you. Following the recessional, please join Lehigh University's newest alumni at their college's receptions and tents outside the south entrance of the stadium. And now, please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the alma mater.
Glorious God of all that is, may the prayers of our hearts be welcomed and received by you. We praise you for this day, wherein it has been our pleasure to thank you for the gift of the class of 2016. Keep them safe. Give them strength to be a difference for our country and world. Make them instruments of your peace in a world that is weary from wars and conflicts. The conviction that when they encounter injustice, they will correct it with compassion and truth. We pray that they realize that it is in giving that we receive, and dying to our lesser selves that we are liberated to be your children. Go with them, Lord, and may we find a perpetual sanctuary in their hearts, for we have loved them dearly. Class of 2016, go with our blessing and the secured blessing of a God who loves us more than we will ever love ourselves, and have courage. Amen.
bless you.